You're listening to the weekly Parsha Podcast with Ari Goldwag, recorded with Hashem's never-ending assistance in Ramah Pishamish Israel, 5779, 2019. This week's Parsha is Parshas Tetzaveh. And I'd like to share with you a thought, again, from Rabbi Chaim Friedlander, continuing really on the idea that we've been speaking about the past few weeks, about the connection between intellect and heart. How do we bridge that gap? How do we bring what we know to our hearts and to our emotions to actually feel what we understand? So he tells us a few different keys. Until now we've spoken about the importance of it, but we haven't really spoken about Lamaisa, how one can do it. So let's see over here we have a few keys to bridging the gap between the heart and the mind. Faith and fear of God through the view of the heart. Through a Hashras Hashchina means the divine presence is openly there and openly revealed in a location or around a person. That is one of the ways that we're going to see that it's possible to attain belief in the heart, or for that which one knows to be transferred, so to speak, to the heart. Israel says in our Parsha, I shall dwell amongst the people of Israel. I will be for them a God. They will know that I am Hashem, their God. The Hashem, their God, who took them out of Egypt. When I dwell in them, that will become apparent. Ani Hashem Elokeim, I am Hashem, their God. Because of our Ramban, the Ramban writes, that what is the idea, what is the concept here? That the verse is saying that when the divine presence rests upon the Jewish people, then they will know that I took them out of Egypt. By having an experiential experience of God, of godliness, by experiencing that through the divine presence being there with the Jewish people, so then they will believe through that experience that God is the one who brought them out of Egypt. Hainu, says Rabbi Chaim Friedlander, this means through the fact that they know when I place my divine presence upon them, they will come to a level of belief or of faith, that they will know that God took them out of Egypt. So we need to understand over here what's going on. This was spoken to the Jewish people the second year after they left Egypt. We're talking about not too much more than a year after they left, in the second year. All these people had left Egypt. They saw all the awesome miracles that God did for them when they left Egypt, when they got to the splitting of the sea. It's an amazing thing. What? Without the divine presence, without the experience of Hashem's presence, would they not have remembered? Would they not know that Hashem took them out of Egypt? Why was it necessary that the Jewish people have the divine presence dwell amongst them in order to realize or to connect the dots? They just saw it. It was an awesome spectacle. It was the most unbelievable experience that perhaps has ever been throughout history. So we see here an amazing foundational concept. Belief or faith, it's not enough to just believe, but it has to be something which a person experiences, feels, touches. You can touch it. It's not enough to know about the facts or to even have seen the facts. A person needs to have an emotional connection to it, and a faith which one feels. You have to feel it. That person who had experienced it a year and a half ago, every single one of those people needed to not just recall it, to know about it, but to actually re-experience it, to feel it again. And that's why it says, Yedu ki ani Hashem, asher hotzisi samei Eretz Mitzrayim. They will know that I am Hashem who took them out of Egypt. through God's divine presence resting upon the Jewish people, God would bring their hearts to a state of feeling that He had taken them out of Egypt. They would feel within the depths of their hearts that which they had seen. In order to recognize the works of God, so it has to be done with one's heart. The person's heart has to recognize it. An amazing thing. It's not enough to see it, even though seeing is believing. But a person has to feel it in one's heart. Depends on a person's willingness to bring it to an emotional level within his heart. Those very understandings, or those very pieces of information which he knows full well. We see that when it comes to recognition, there are different levels. Verse says in chapter 30, verse 3 of Exodus. Also in our Parsha, in speaking about Bezalel, and speaking about the one who would construct the Mishkan, so God says, I filled him up with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, with understanding, and with das, with knowledge. What are these three different levels of wisdom? Wisdom, understanding, knowledge. Because of Rashi, Chachma is something that a person has learned from others. Okay? He understands what he's heard from others without adding anything on of his own. Now, the concept of Bina, what is the idea of Bina? Chachma is the knowledge that one attains from others. Bina is the understanding that I have now. I take that which I've learned and I apply it. Deepening one's knowledge based on what they've already learned. A person can then take the information that he has and be able to apply it and say, okay, this is what I have heard, this is what I've been taught, here's how I apply it. And so other cases which it wasn't specified, it wasn't specifically spoken of. Above that is the aspect of knowledge. What is the idea of knowledge? The idea of knowledge is the deepest depth of knowing. It's where a person has a closeness and a love, an inner love to that matter. Because of Rashi, like Rashi says, this is in Genesis chapter 18, verse 19. Kidativ lashon chiba. God speaks of Abraham as somebody that He knows. What is the idea of knowing? It means loving. Lashon chiba. Onam ikar lashon kulam ena ela lashon yediyah. Shemechaveves ha'adam akarvoi etzav yodem akiroi. Somebody who loves somebody else, so he brings him close to him, he knows him, recognizes him. Says from Chaim Friedlander, wisdom is not just something which is intellectual. The aspect of yediyah denotes or connotes the concept of having an emotional connection to the concept. Mechavenes is kol masav, and that is something which directs a person's actions. When I feel emotionally connected to something, that's when I'm willing to give it my all. That's when I'm willing to do it right all the way. A person who's at the place of yediyah, of knowing, so that person feels at a certain state of oneness and identified with that which he knows. That's why the verse says that through the divine presence dwelling on the Jewish people, they will know that I am Hashem. It doesn't say they will understand, or they may lashon bina of mevin. It says v'yedu, they will know intimately, they will feel emotionally connected to it. Because when it comes to this type of deep level of knowledge of God having taken the Jewish people out of Egypt, so a person reaches that level through Hashras Hashchina, through the divine presence, which it's possible for a person to achieve even today. It's possible for a person to access the level of divine presence a person experiences an embarrassing situation, doesn't say anything, that is an example of what Chazal say, bring about a certain level of divine presence. There's different examples of it. I'm not going to get into it at length. It's not as easily attainable. But we will speak now about some ideas and some ways that we can indeed attain, transfer the level of knowledge, the intellectual understanding that we have to the place of our heart. So the first way is, as we said, this aspect of Hashras HaShekhinah, divine presence. The second is the concept of prayer, tefillah. An example of this is the prayer of Elijah the prophet on Mount Carmel. Based on this concept, which is that only by having an experience, an emotional experience, a heartfelt experience, are we able to truly understand and recognize the truth. Bi'ar Marena v'Rabbeinu, Rav Dessler, Zatzal, es ha'Ma'aseh v'Eliyahu ha'Nevi'ei Habal, B'Har Carmel. So this concept, Rav Dessler used to explain what happened on the Mount Carmel. Shekrivu shnei parim, echad l'Nevi'ei Habal v'echad l'Hashem. The Torah tells us in Tanakh, in the prophets, that each group brought a korban, brought a sacrifice. The Nevi'ei Habal, the false prophets, brought a sacrifice to the Baal, and Elijah the prophet brought one to God. The sacrifice of the false prophets was not received. And then Elijah the prophet comes to bring his sacrifice. He stood in prayer to God and he said, Aneni Hashem Aneni. He said, God, please answer me. And then the nation will know that you are Hashem, our God. So then the fire comes down from heaven. The fire comes down and consumes the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, everything that was there, the water. When everybody saw this, so they were amazed by it, and they realized that there's only one God. So we need to understand. When it comes to praying, when a person's doing his own thing, we understand that. It makes sense. If I'm praying, I need God to help me because I'm doing something and I need God's help. But Elijah the prophet, he was a messenger of God. God had sent him to do this. What's the understanding? Why does he need to be praying to God to help him with this? Why does he need to say, God, please answer me, please answer me? What is he praying about? He's God's messenger here. And Rav Dessler explains that while it's true that God is the one who commanded him to take all of these actions, in order for the miracle to occur, the fire would come down from heaven, the Jewish people would need to recognize, not enough to just see it, as we've been saying. In order for them to appreciate the power of the miracle, so it would require a certain bringing it to their hearts. This type of understanding, this type of communication between the mind and the heart is only possible through a connection to Hashem. If they have that connection, that feeling of closeness, then they will be able to recognize that this is a great miracle and will have an effect on them. That type of recognition and faith in the miracle is something which depends on their free will. Despite that, through his prayer, it was possible for him to raise up their level of free will such that it would be easier for them to have a connection to God and that the miracle would have an effect on them emotionally. Like the Gemara in Brachas says, this that it says twice, he said, answer me twice. First of all, answer me that the fire should come down from heaven. And also answer me that people shouldn't say that it was just witchcraft. means that first of all, answer me that the fire should come down, and they should recognize that it's a miracle, and they shouldn't think that it's just a happenstance type of event. There will be those who will indeed recognize that it's something uncommon and unusual. It's not the regular natural event. But they could say that it's witchcraft. Therefore he said that also please answer me that they shouldn't say that it's witchcraft. And this is why he also additionally said, you should know, and they will know that you are Hashem, the God. The heart which they have, which has turned aside from believing in God, the emotions that are at play here, that have turned them away from God, let those emotions turn them back to God. That was his prayer. Okay? So that's the second way. The first route is through Hashras Hashchina, the divine presence, that can cause a person to be aware of or for it to communicate to his heart. The second one is prayer. Through tefillah, we can ask God to help us to be able to have that communication between our mind and heart. That the things that we know, the things that we see even, should be something which affects our emotions. Okay, here's where we come to the third aspect. It's called Emunah B'Rabbai, trusting in one's teacher. Another example of this, says Reb Chaim Friedlander, is that when Elisha sent Gehazi l'reis Shloim Hanar Shal Ben Hashunamis. So we've spoken in previous weeks about the woman who had Tchias HaMesim done for her. Her child died. Elisha Navi sends his servant Gehazi to bring him back to life. So in those verses it says, so he sent him to do the act. He didn't end up being able to successfully do it. Elisha himself went and brought the child back to life. But in the original shlichus that he sent him on, he said, take my staff and go. So he was giving over this spiritual power to bring the child back to life. If you find somebody, don't say hello to him, don't bless him. If someone blesses you, do not respond. And place my staff on the face of the child. So they go. If it didn't work, he came back and he said the child didn't wake up. So like we said, Elisha then goes and brings the child back to life. So he says we need to understand Madua. Why is it? So Gehazi said to him, Elisha told Gehazi, don't say anything to anybody. Don't respond. Don't give a blessing to anybody. Don't respond to anyone's blessing. What was the idea? What was the power of the staff, or what could have been if he hadn't messed it up? His beer, Morin of Rabbeinu Zatzal. So Rav Dessler explains, Gehazi was not on the level that he would be able to see this great miracle. There's a concept of a person, if they trust in their teacher, even though they don't have the level which is necessary in order to see a miracle, but if, let's say, someone trusts or believes in his Rebbe or his whatever it is, his teacher. Okay? The purpose of the staff was that Gehazi have a remembrance of his teacher. He couldn't turn his mind away from the task that Elisha had given to him. He would have been able to do a nace, to perform a miracle. Because without this, he wasn't somebody who is typical of him to be able to perform a miracle. But by staying focused on the original command and by staying focused on the staff in his hand, which belonged to Elisha, so then he would have been able to do it. Through his belief in his teacher. Therefore, it was imperative that he shouldn't speak to anybody. He shouldn't take his mind off of the command of his teacher. In order to merit to see a miracle, so it's possible to get to a certain level of where the intellect speaks to the heart through one's trust in the Rebbe, through one's trust in the teacher who teaches him the concept. So we can have a transference, so to speak, of if the teacher has that ability, if the teacher has that feeling within the heart of connectedness to what they know, so it can be transferred to the student by the student trusting or believing in and not taking his mind off of his teacher. Okay, so that was the third way. So the bottom line here is, as he finishes off and says, La'or Zois, based on this Navin Shashras Hashchina B'Yisrael. What is the bottom line reason of what we said at the very beginning, which is the divine presence which is found amongst the people of Israel? God places his divine presence. What's it for? The purpose is so that we can live with a connection, a heartfelt connection, an emotional connection to Hashem. And through this, we can not only have an intellectual understanding of the miracles of Egypt, but rather we can have an emotional conception of the miracles of the Jewish people's exodus. And this is something that can bring us to a constant feeling of connection. So we have these three aspects. We have the aspect of prayer, we have the aspect of Hashras Hashchina, God's divine presence, and the aspect of trusting in our teachers. And I want to bless you and ask you to bless me, that Hashem should help us to be able to find within our lives the places where God's divine presence is there, so that it can help us to connect our minds and our hearts, that which we know. Hashem should help us to use our prayers. Hashem should help us to use the opportunity that prayer represents and presents to us to be able to ask for this bridge between mind and heart. And finally, we should be able to find the right teachers, the people that actually have this attribute, who have traversed the distance between mind and heart, so that we can, first of all, learn from them, and second of all, trust them and be able to use that trust in order to find this great and deep connection to Hashem, which has the ability to help us see miracles. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos. This podcast was made possible through the gracious donations of listeners like you. For more podcasts like this, please visit www.arigoldwag.com or search on iTunes Ari Goldwag.